everyone, this is Misha Houston, and I'm here to do my review of the haves and the have-nots. Tonight's episode is entitled Kate, and I have to say that this episode was a little bit awkward for me. It wasn't great, nor was it terrible, but there were some awkward scenes in this. There was one scene that was very forced. There was two other scenes that was very contradictory to each other. And the episode as a whole just wasn't all that satisfying. I hate to say that, but it is true. Now, before I start, I want to apologize for getting my video out so late. As you know, Texas was hit by a hurricane, Hurricane Harvey. And I, live in Houston, Texas, and I was caught up in the hurricane. And even though it didn't take much toll on my home or my car or anything else, it did take a toll on me emotionally. Oh, I'm very heartbroken at what happened here these past few days, and I just needed to recuperate before I started filming again. So, to my wonderful subscribers, I want to apologize, but it was a hurricane going on in Houston, Texas. So please send up a prayer for the people of Texas. Send up a prayer for Dallas. Send up a prayer for Humboldt. Send up a prayer for Victoria and Corpus Christi. Send up a prayer for Houston, Texas. And send up a prayer for me, for Misha Houston. So, thank you very much. The first group of people we go to is Mama Rose, Malone, Mitch, Tony, Erica, Warlock and his crew, which are all dead. At the Rosa Malone restaurant, Mama Rose comes from the back room. She sees Tony and Mitch and Erica in a chair afraid for her life, and Warlock and his crew all dead on the floor. She tells them, "Don't get any blood on your good shoes." Mama Rose looks at Erica and asks, "Who is this girl and do you want her to live?" Erica begs for her life, and Mitch says just to let her live. She then immediately runs for the door. Mama Rose says that this is a mess, and Mitch replies that the boys did what they had to do. Mama Rose says, "Good thing I own the police." Mitch apologizes for all of this, but Mama Rose says, "Don't be sorry." Mama Rose looks to Warlock dead and asks, "Is this the man who did it?" And Tony replies that it was him, but he's apparently gone now. Mama Rose says, "Okay," and it's done. She is more concerned with her restaurant being shot up than all these dead bodies on the floor. Mitch knows that this is a mess and that he's sorry. Mama Rose says, "Don't be sorry." She thanks him and Candace. Mitch is surprised that Mama Rose knows Candace, but she confesses that she's known Candace for a while and that she's been here before. She also says that she owes her for this. Mitch thanks Tony and then hugs and kisses Mama Rose and says that they'll talk later. And then he leaves. Mama Rose asks Tony who was going to clean this shit up. And to me, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was very, very funny. And it's always a good thing that Warlock is dead. So how could it be a bad scene when Warlock is gone? The next two people we go to is Candace and Mitch. Outside the restaurant in Mitch's car, they both brood and talk about what happened at the Rosa Malone restaurant. Mitch asks if she is okay, and Candace says yes. Candace thanks him, and he replies it needed to be done. Candace says that she knows she never wanted him to be a part of the family business. She asks him, though, is it really so bad? They take care of business. And Mitch agrees to this, but he says that it runs much deeper than that. Candace is glad that the man who killed her son has found justice. Mitch tells her she saved a lot of children tonight. She thinks it's because he was a drug dealer, but Mitch informs her that Mama Rose would have steamrolled over anyone to get revenge. Candace realizes that he's talking about Bloody Thursday. She says that she was a child when that happened, but she remembers that the hood bled that day. They both compliment each other on the roles that they played, and Mitch tells her that Mama Rose would like to talk to her, but Candace says that it's cool. She is obviously afraid for what happened in the past. Candace informs Mitch that Jim Cryer had Mama Rose abduct her. Mama Rose threatened her into leaving him alone. She barely recognized where she was until she remembered that in the basement there were people laughing and enjoying themselves above. Mitch confirms that there that is where they take people and they usually don't come back out. Mitch says that she was very lucky and wonders why she never told him. At the time, Candace couldn't. They took everything from her and they nearly blew out her eardrum with a shotgun. Mitch says Mama owes her a favor and that a favor may come in handy in the future, but she just wants him to drop her off at the hotel. I appreciated that scene. It was a very good scene. But outside of him dropping her off at the hotel, it didn't really progress the story forward that much. The next two people we go to is Hannah and Benny. Hannah picks up Benny at the police station and asks him can he drive the car. Hannah talks about Candace calling her and asking her, since she was on top of Quincy Jr., why didn't she get shot? And Hannah wonders the same thing herself. She confesses that Candace blames her, but she said that she tried with all of her might. Benny says that it is not her fault. Hannah says that she is out of patience, out of prayer, and out of faith and feels totally empty. Benny offers to take her to church, but she refuses. Benny tries to remind her that God will make a way, but that now that Quincy is dead, she is worn out and tired of the constant struggle. Benny offers to pray with her, and he recites the Lord's Prayer, but she refuses to pray with him. Now, as I said before in the beginning of my video, there were some scenes that were contradictory, and this is one of the scenes. And I will get to the other scene that it contradicts to in time. The next two people we go to is David and Erica. David enters Erica's hotel room after she calls him in a panic. David asks her if he asked her if it was Veronica who upset her, and she says no. David notices the bruise on her face and thinks Veronica attacked her again. She assures him that it was not Veronica, but then she lies to him, saying that her fiance did it, and that he is crazy, and that he's crazy, and that he is after her. She says that she's trying to get away from him, but doesn't want to involve him. He wants to know the fiance's name so he can have him arrested, but she refuses to give the name because there is no name. She is not that man's fiance. She's no man's fiance. She's a con woman. She breaks down and says that she needs money and help. David says that he will get her to a safe place. She hams it up for him, saying, "Can we take the back stairs?" And he says yes. And they both leave together. Now, before I go on to the next section, I want to talk about Erica. David is going to want to dig in her life now. He really wasn't worried about digging into her life before. He told Oscar not to dig around. But now that she says she has some crazy fiance, he's going to want to dig in her life. And he's most likely going to get Oscar to help him. And if Oscar sees her face, the jig will be up. So I think it was very unwise of her to lie to him and says that some crazy fiance is after her. He's going to want to know the truth. He's going to want to know his name, and he's going to want to have him arrested. And he's going to dig until he finds something, which will most likely get her caught in her con woman scheme. The next group of people we go to is Melissa, Doris, Melissa's mother, and Veronica. Oh, another Veronica scene. You know how she is, y'all. In Veronica's House of Horrors, Doris is there with Melissa, fresh out of the hospital. Veronica puts on a false front in front of Doris, saying nicely that you gave us quite a scare and to never do that again. Doris assures Veronica that it won't happen again. Veronica tells Melissa that suicide is not the answer, which is true. We have gone through a great pain to have you in a nice place and have the baby in a nice place. Doris assures her again that she understands. Veronica then asks Doris how are things going for the funeral, and Doris then tries to weasel money out of Veronica. Because the insurance won't cover all of the burial expenses. Doris says that she is selling her house so she can pay off the debt to Veronica. Veronica asks, where is Doris going to live? And Doris responds that she has a sister in Delaware that will put her up. Veronica asks, how much money will she need for the funeral? And Doris responds, saying that they are calculating the total right now and that she'll have to get back with her soon. Then Doris smells dinner in the kitchen, but Veronica does not want her to stay. Veronica looks at her and then in her creepy, crazy way and says good night. Doris says goodbye to Melissa, saying that she loves her, and then she leaves her alone with the she demon. Afterwards, Veronica insults Doris and wonders why Melissa puts up with her. That is a good question, but why does Jeffrey put up with Veronica? Veronica accuses Doris of being a crack addict, but Melissa denies that. Melissa says that Doris is disabled, but Veronica says that the only thing that needs to be disabled is the refrigerator. Veronica warns Melissa to watch her weight and her eating habits, or she'll end up with saddlebags just like her mother. Veronica then takes her upstairs. She doesn't want to go upstairs, but she eventually relents and goes anyway. In the bedroom, Veronica hasn't had the bed cleaned. The bloody sheets are still on the bed. Veronica says, what did you think? Did you think the maid would clean this up? Veronica expects her to clean up the sheets and mattress, which would be next to impossible. She doesn't want to see a speck of red anywhere. Then she tells Melissa that she needs to go and find her checkbook because she knows that her ratchet ass mother will come back wanting money. She hopes she is worth all of this trouble. She expects the baby to be healthy and to be cute. Now, before I go on, I want to talk about Veronica and the racket that she's running. She has fooled Doris's mother into believing that she's a rich and well-off woman, which we all know she's not. Veronica gave Doris a loan, to further make her believe that she's rich, and now Doris is selling off of her house and her daughter to pay Veronica. When the truth is Veronica doesn't have any money. She's millions of dollars in debt. And I think that it is a very, very clever and diabolical racket that she's running with Doris. I would love to see the look on Doris's face if she ever to realize that Veronica is millions of dollars in debt. Technically, Doris has more money than Veronica, and yet Doris is selling off her house just to pay her. I mean, that is really, really diabolical. It's really, really manipulative. It's greedy and selfish. And the sad thing about it, Veronica is a trained lawyer. She can get her money up by, taking court cases. But she would rather expunge and, weasel money out of Doris and have Doris thinking that she's a rich woman. It's really, really a sad scheme. And it's really, really terrible. And I hope that one day she gets her comeuppance. The next two people we go to is Charles and Candace. Charles comes knocking on the door, hoping to get laid one last time before he leaves. I mean, we all know why he's knocking on the door. He's just hoping that he could get laid to Candace one more time. And then couching it and covering it and masquerading it as concern. But I know what he's after. Charles says that he has a campaign stop in New York. He says that he can push it off a couple of hours, and Candace asks why. He wants to know if she is okay. Candace asks, what makes you think that I'm not okay? Then he reminds her of Quincy Jr. Candace replies that her son is gone and there's nothing to be done about it. They are both sorry, and Charles knows that she's hurting really bad, and he offers to listen to her if she wants to talk. He tells her that he is not a doctor, but you do have the ear of the president. Candace tells him that he likes how that sounds in his ear. And Charles counters, saying that he likes the way she sounds. Charles confesses that people have vetted women for him in the past and he has wanted none of them. They have the polish, but they don't have the edge, the guts, the heart, or the ability to handle the seat. He says that he went about this all wrong. He says that he should have been honest from the beginning. Candace tells him that he was honest. Him being power hungry and info greedy was not him, but he was only trying to be. He realizes that Candace sees him and that even though he is the most powerful man, soon to be the most powerful man, he feels very invisible. Candace says sometimes being powerful can make you be invisible to those who want to love you. Charles doesn't want her to leave. And Candace says, Charles says that he doesn't want to leave himself. And Charles tells him not to leave. Just stay here with me and give up the presidency. Charles says that he can't do that, but he wishes he could. Charles wants her to come with him, or at the very least visit him. But she says that she needs to bury her son. Charles understands that she needs to grieve, and then he kisses her on her cheek, and then he leaves. They both linger by the door. Now, this scene was kind of awkward and strange to me because it felt like it was forced. Like all of a sudden they have this strong love bond with each other that just came out of nowhere. It didn't just come out of it didn't come out of nowhere. I don't really believe it. I don't believe that she truly has feelings for him, nor do I believe that he has feelings for her other than, lustful and sexual feelings. It felt like they were trying to put them together as a true love couple, but I just wasn't buying it. I felt like it was totally forced, and I really didn't believe any of the emotion that came off either one of them. I've just, to me, I've just never felt much chemistry between the two of them. But, that's just my opinion. The next three people we go to is Benny, Hannah, and Katheryn. Benny and Hannah go back to Katheryn's house. Benny says he is going to talk to Veronica about his case and Candace about the funeral. Katheryn says that the funeral home is ready for them and they need to bring some clothes for him. Benny says that Candace needs to be a part of this, but Hannah is against it, saying that she was never there for him when he was alive. Benny says he is right and he is going to call her anyway. Hannah doesn't want her in the mansion, and Benny agrees. Now, before I go forward, I want to say this. Later on, Katheryn is going to offer her a gift, but Hannah is going to refuse it. And I think right now she's being kind of territorial over a place that she doesn't want any part of. After Benny leaves, Katheryn offers to let Hannah stay in the mansion. And Katheryn says that once her father's house is built, she will be moving there and she wants to give Hannah the mansion. Hannah obviously refuses it, saying that she can't just walk up into Hannah's life like she's her savior, nor does she want the sympathy. Katheryn retorts, saying that she isn't giving her any. Hannah asks her why. Then Katheryn replies that someone in heaven is looking out for you. Hannah insists that she wants to earn her way. Katheryn then says that she will give her a job, take the house from the bank, and Hannah can pay what she can afford to pay. Hannah says that Hannah says no because of her credit situation, but Katheryn says that she is on the board of the bank and they can work around that. Hannah wants to think about it, but she also says that it doesn't feel right. Katheryn asks her, "Would you accept my gift if I were a black woman?" Katheryn confesses to Hannah that it hurt her to her soul when she said that when Hannah said that I am not your slave. Katheryn hopes she is not so small minded that a black maid can't be successful without the help of a rich white woman. Katheryn tells her that she's done more for her than the rest of her family combined. Katheryn remembers her washing blood out of her clothes when she had cancer. She remembers her praying for her children, and she remembers the peace that she brought into the house. She says that the house means nothing to her, and what Hannah did for her meant everything. She's offering the house out of appreciation, gratitude, and love. Katheryn has seen people, her employees mostly, work all their lives to get ahead, and it leaves them bitter and exhausted. She doesn't want that to happen to Hannah. Katheryn says that it is okay to accept help. And then Hannah, says, just let me get through my funeral. Let me get through my grandson's funeral and just let me think about it a little while longer. Hannah thanks her and Katheryn thanks her right back. Now, this is the contradictory scene that I was talking about. Hannah doesn't want Candace in the mansion, yet she just told Katheryn that she doesn't want to live there. She says that she wants to earn her way, but she doesn't want to take the job. Hannah says that she's totally exhausted and is tired of the constant struggle. But when Katheryn offers to help her and to help ease her struggle, she completely refuses it. I mean, what does Hannah want? Her motivation to me is unclear. And I'm not sure if it's faulty writing or the fact that Hannah is so lost and so heartbroken. But it just feels to me that she's contradicting herself. Excuse me. She's contradicting herself and she doesn't know what she wants. But I mean that was the two scenes that I was talking about, and I just wasn't quite sure what Hannah wanted and what her motivation was in that scene. Then the next few people we go to and the last scene of the night belongs to Benny, Candice, Jim, Hannah, and Katheryn. Benny and Candice are on the phone with each other. Candice tells Benny that Warlock killed Quincy Jr. and calls him a son of a bitch. Benny offers to come pick her up at the hotel, but Candice asks for the address to the funeral home so she can get there on her own. Benny asks about Warlock, but Candice sidesteps the question, saying that she is fine. Benny tries once again to get her location, but she just tells him to text me the address, and he eventually agrees. She says that she loves him, and then she hangs up. Just then, Jim walks into Katheryn's house, uninvited and unannounced, and asks, "Who is he?" Benny introduces himself, and then Hannah and Katheryn walk in. Katheryn wants to know what's he doing there, and Jim says that he wants to talk to her. Katheryn wants Hannah to stay, but they have to go on to the funeral. Benny and Hannah then leave, and Katheryn and Jim are alone. Katheryn wants him to leave, but Jim is angry at her for torching the mansion. Katheryn could care less, and she is glad that it is gone. Katheryn didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be there, nor did she want to be with him. Jim wants to have a meeting with David, Veronica, but she refuses. Jim says that she will go to prison if we don't get the story straight. Jim then orders her to sit down on the couch and listen. Katheryn then gets upset by that order, and Jim declares that she is not getting rid of him. Katheryn said that she only did it to get rid of the evidence. Jim says that the furniture, the lamps, and the rugs are all in storage, and the house was practically burned down for no reason. Katheryn says that she did have a reason. She says that she didn't care and only wished that he was in it. Jim chases her, to the bedroom, and Jim chases her to the bedroom, telling Katheryn that hanging out with that crazy bitch Veronica has made her even more crazier. Katheryn says the only person who has made her crazy is him. Katheryn just wants him out of there, but he, starts to sink his claws into her, saying that I know that you love me and vice versa. She starts laughing at him, but he carries on. It gets to the point where he starts to unbutton his shirt, and then he grabs her and pins her onto the bed. He starts to undress and says that she loves him and that I love you too. He pins her to the bed, and she starts crying and covering her face. Then, they start to kiss, and then he tells her and whispers in her ear that I know that you're angry and you have every right to be angry with me, and I enjoy seeing you angry. They start kissing each other, and I guess they start making love to each other, and then he says, "It's good to see you, Kate." And that is where the episode ends. And, it's funny. They are married and had kids, but that's the first love scene I've seen them in. And I hope, for my sake, that it is the last. Thank you very much for watching my video. The next episode will be entitled For the Team. My MVP of the night is Katheryn because I liked the conversation that she had with Hannah about accepting help. Hannah, kind of needs to get over her pride. She knows she needs help. She knows she has nowhere to stay. So she needs to kind of get over it and accept Katheryn's help before she gets tired, of it and denies her help altogether. So for that reason, I have chosen Katheryn as my MVP. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you like my video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will be back next week for the next episode. Enjoy your life as I do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.